Welcome to today's episode of the Australian Lawn and Garden Podcast. Barry, Luke, Mr. Crowhurst.
How you doing?
Does Mr. Crowhurst make you feel old? I said that as
it makes me feel like I'm at school.
Yeah.
Like I'm a teacher with a big stick.
Well, I'm Mr. Smith.
Yeah. Call me Baz or Crowy.
Crowy.
But never Mr. Crowhurst.
No, sorry. I deeply apologise. Please don't put me on detention.
No.
Before we get into it, I wanted to do this podcast because, yeah, we can talk about tools and people will love that and we will. But what I was thinking about is like, as an intellectual resource, you would have so much business knowledge running Ego, who are a market leader in this industry. 14 years, something like that?
10, actually. We'll be celebrating 10 years on Ego around October this year.
It was 2014 you released, that's
correct, yeah.
I did do my research, but I got backwards. So 10 years running a business in Australia, and obviously there's other tools as well. Ego's the biggest one that you do. And I don't know why I've never thought about it before, to go, tell us your business philosophy and how you would think about it. And if we were going to go, if you were chatting to say me when I was 19 starting my business, what fundamentals that go across all businesses would you go for? But before we do that,
Okay.
we've got something cool here.
We do have something extremely cool.
Tell me about this thing. It's not video for those
This is going to be our new bad boy, the new commercial blower. So first generation commercial blower, and I reckon we've hit all the key points, all the CTQ, so the critical to quality for the commercial market. This bad boy is going to deliver 1,700 cubic meters.
For people who that is like Chinese for them, your previous blower,
1,300.
and that at the time was the most powerful.
That was the most powerful. This will become the most powerful on the market, not by a little bit, but by a long bit. Or by a long bit.
A long bit.
A long bit.
It's right up there. It's what surpassing many backpack rolls.
Absolutely. Petrol, battery, any way that it's been fueled. So, but it's not just, the velocity that it's going to throw out. It's the overall design. It's got a shorter front end tube. We've also gone the D handle. So because you've got that pushback with that much power, it's there to control, but it's also to reduce user fatigue. Absolutely.
So it's not, when I saw it with a D handle, I thought, it's going to be heavy. That's why you got two handles. You can use more heavy.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. But the power that it's going to deliver, certainly the power that it's going to deliver, you're going to have to fight it to a certain degree, hence the reason for the D handle. It gives you a lot more control, reduces user fatigue. But beyond all that, then you've got the LED screen, so you can actually visually see the power that you're pushing out. You do have a light on the front as well. So whether you're in dark areas, overcast areas, tree shadows, building shadows, you're going to have a light that you're going to be able to use. The other beauty of this is variable speed in the trigger. So once you set your speed, you've then got a button here on the left-hand side that you can depress and it'll actually lock in that speed. Then if you go to use turbo, then you'll get that turbo power as well. And then if you release that turbo, it'll go back to the setting that you've set it at. So it's got a lot of critical to quality CTQs that we've listened to the market. What do they want in a blower? How do they want to use it? What features do they want on it? And outside of that, it's a pretty cool looking unit too.
I have to say, I used to think, if we're being dead honest, when you were mostly grey, it didn't look as sexy. And even though I should be more logical and Spoff-like, decisions on tools do come down to what ones make you feel more manly and cover up for my own personal insecurities. And yes, I think when you've gone to the black stuff, it just looks better in my opinion.
Oh, look, it's definitely aesthetically appealing. The carbon fibre, I mean, that just rocks it, right? It looks good. But
I don't even care if it's lighter.
Sorry?
Like it's the aesthetic thing. If carbon fibre is light or whatever, so okay, fine. It just looks cool. It makes me feel like a real man.
That come around naturally because what we wanted to do, given that it was commercial focus, is we wanted to take weight out, but we wanted to put durability in.
Yep.
So carbon fibre makes sense.
Yeah.
And holy shit, we go and put that on there and it looks sexy.
It does.
So they're a pretty good looking set now since we've released the second generation of commercial, and it just complements the new commercial mower now too, right? So the range is getting bigger.
I'll move this camera. The commercial mower is down here, as you guys can see. I was going to ask you quickly before we get to the business stuff.
Yep.
How have you gone with demand? Because online, there's been a lot of stuff. We talked on the phone maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago now, something like that, talking about this tour. And you're like, oh, I can't wait to have it here because the orders, the pre-orders. Have you actually been able to keep up?
No. No, to put it simply. We started pre-selling it. So we launched it, what are we in now, July. So we launched it approximately 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. But we got visibility through pre-orders around January. So we quickly doubled our forecast, then we tripled, then we quadrupled our forecast. But when you work on a 4 to 6 month lead time, it's pretty hard to catch up. But we started seeing that demand come in. We've done okay. There has been some back orders, but we've got a lot more that's flowing through over the next month or two. So the demand, we underestimated. We thought we got it right, but how wrong we were. The demand on commercial has just been overwhelming. And it's the same with the STX 4500, the line trimmer, when we released that in November. Wow. The more we bring in, the more we send out. The same with the edger. The hedge trimmers have been interesting. I thought they would have taken off a lot better than they did. I mean, they've still done well because we've listened to the Aussie market and they all wanted at least 3,500 RPMs in a trimmer. And we've gone and given it 3 speeds. So we've given it more versatility, 3,200, 35, 4,000. They've done well, but we actually forecasted a lot more.
I guess that's the part. Like, these are the stuff that we never think about. Because if you go and order, I don't know, 10,000 and you sell 3,000, it doesn't matter what price you sell them for, you're not going to make money.
Oh, you'll make money, but it's all the costing that happens behind it. So, from a logistics point of view, so sometimes you might be a little cautious, sometimes you might overinvest. I think we simply overinvested in the hedge trimmers. We underinvested in the line trimmer, the mower, and even the new pole saw. Yeah. So, that pole saw, wow, the numbers that we had in pre-order was greater than anything else we've had in our range. It's just been huge. It's been overwhelming.
Well, separate, it's been funny with these events, and you've been at Perth, well, not you personally, but Ego's been at Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, be at Sydney, and Brisbane as well. We haven't announced Brisbane technically yet.
No.
Might be by the time this podcast comes out. But I've been so busy that I actually haven't really put my hand on any tour of any brand. I just walk around talking to people the whole time.
I noticed last night.
I'm actually here, I've actually got an opportunity to actually see what
we've got a bit of stuff in here.
What's behind? Look, I've got the ability to turn these around. So you do have the back wall there. Yeah, look at these new Ego tripods that they've just released. For those asking, my tripods are too tall, and this ended up being the best angle. But there's a lot in here, man.
Yeah, what you got on that wall that you just had on, and that's most of the domestic range, and behind us is the commercial range. So, as a business, we're now starting to differentiate between the two categories or the two industries.
Yep.
We know that commercial guys are going to buy domestic, hence the reason why we have a 12-month warranty on it. But this is where it's at.
Yeah.
What's been overwhelming is the feedback, the positive feedback, but also the demand. I mean, that tells us where we're at. So that gives us more confidence that in the next 12 months, 2 years, as we have more focus for commercial, we're heading in the right direction.
To do my due diligence, what would be the price point on this guy?
Can't tell you just yet.
It's $50, people.
Now, it's not due out for a few months yet, but it's going to be extremely competitive. But it will be available at skin only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, somewhere starting potentially from $50.
No,
I'm joking. I try to be so ridiculous that people know I'm joking. If I said something in the ballpark, then people would take it seriously. Anyways, so we did a poll, a survey in LMCA, and I said, I said to the contractors, if you're going to pick one brand, or you got one brand to choose, money's not an option for the next 10 years, who you got in with? I expected it to be a very even spread. What wasn't a surprise to me was that you had Still and Husqvarna, who have been the dominant forces for forever.
Been around a long time.
And people would be making a decision, in my opinion, not that I can speak for everybody, but they're probably making a decision based on what they know and just, I guess, maybe playing it safe. I expected a lot more spread across the battery market. From memory, I think you were about 10 times the votes of the next closest battery brand. And I bring that up because you've obviously done something really well at positioning yourself as a market leader. And I'm even moving away, because I'm always thinking about the business side of things now. Moving away from the tool, I'm just thinking about how the business appears to the market you're looking at. To the market, it showed that you've done a great job of promoting yourself, a great job of showing that you're a trustworthy brand, because the question was about for the next 10 years.
Yep.
Removing the tools, not thinking about anything like that, a bunch of businesses would be wanting to achieve that same sort of result for their lawn and garden business. You don't do that overnight, clearly, but what are the things that you think you did that are transferable between a tool business and a service business that the listeners could take some advice from?
Yeah, look, I guess our number one objective was to develop a strategy. And the way I view strategy is about being different. So if you're going to be Me Too, guess what? You're only going to deliver Me Too. But if you're going to do something different, then you will be different. And that comes in many forms. So fortunately, when we launched the brand 10 years ago, we were a 56 volt offering versus what was on the market at the time was either 2x18s or a 36 volt. And they were solid brands with heritage. So we had a point of difference already on that platform. So we wanted to compare 56 volt against petrol though, not against the lower voltages. So we wanted to give consumers confidence that the product that they were buying was either going to match or exceed that of petrol, but less all the issues that come with petrol, such as fumes, just storage, transportation, all of the above, and the vibration that comes with it. So that was our number one point of difference, but also the way we went to market. So what else could we offer that nobody else was doing? So that was our first objective, was to develop a strategy as a point of difference.
So differentiating yourself from the competitors side and being like, what are our unique ways? And so then the businesses that are listening to this, like, what are they taking from that they can do? I guess at the time as well, you were, you say you're a young brand, but you definitely are, especially compared to Husqvarna's 300 years or something.
Yeah.
They were doing guns or something like that back in the day. But 10 years is still actually really early for the outdoor power equipment battery brands.
Well, and that's another point of difference, is because of our charging systems and dual fans and keeping the batteries cooler for longer. The history of battery wasn't great, because you had a lot of either nickel metal hydride, or you had NiCad, or you had lead acid. And lead acid battery mowers back in the early 90s, Black & Decker made a Stealth. It was a pretty good mower, but if you were halfway through the job, you had to charge it overnight. So nobody wanted to do that. So there was some negative history on it. So there was basically a consumer education on how we would charge quicker, how we would last longer. And that hasn't been an easy exercise. But that's been part of our marketing all along. Is even today, we still educate the consumer. We've developed battery indicator guides that now live on our website and that we share on platforms like LMCA. But we've got to educate the consumer. And I think battery missed that early on about what the difference was. So battery versus battery, it's all the same. But battery versus petrol, that was the point of difference. And that's where we really focused.
When you're looking at small businesses, any industry, right? Say sole operators, maybe 1, 2, 3 employees. Oftentimes, while I'll put myself in the shoe, I often look at some businesses, especially really young ones, and I'm like, I can see some issues. I don't say anything unless I'm asked. You know what I mean? It's not my place. I remember I made some of those issues. I can see, you doing that sort of stuff. What's the number one thing that you're seeing with these younger businesses that they're getting wrong? And it's not from a standpoint of like, oh, let's shoot down these small businesses, but we could save them a lot of heartache here if someone with your experience is like, this is what they're doing, and this is how you change it.
Yeah, look, the way we look at it is if you're going to put some form of strategy together, and if it works, you adopt it. But if it doesn't, you've got to adjust, and you've got to adjust immediately. Because the longer that you don't, guess what? You're still going to get the same results.
Yeah.
So you either adopt or you adjust. We can't be closed-minded, and we continue. I guess the number one focus for us is never become complacent. Never think that we're the best on the market. We don't profess that we are. We still know we've got a long way to go to cater for both the domestic and more so the commercial. Yeah. So we're adjusting to the market, and our second generation of commercial is because we've listened to the market as well. And I think it's been surprising for those that have been on platforms that have heard us saying that we do listen to the market, and that Australia has a large input into what we produce globally. I think I've said it before on a previous podcast, but here in Australia, we were the first ones to introduce an anti-clockwise line trimmer into our business. US, Europe, we're not aware of that requirement from a commercial standpoint. So there are the sort of things. So I guess I'm sort of digressing a little bit, but these are all the things to be a point of difference. But we had to adjust because we knew that a clockwise line trimmer wasn't going to hit the commercial market. So we had to adjust to an anti-clockwise. We got that right. But then what else was there? And that's when we started listening to the market, and we started hearing about trimmer heads and speeds and everything else that came to it, because the domestic market just want a product that's going to do the job for them.
Yeah.
And that's another objective for our business, is that we're looking for solutions to market challenges.
Recently, I made a small business course called the Aussie Green Biz Mastery Course. It's for people who are starting out in the industry or who have been in maybe for a year or two, and they're really good at the gardening side, but they struggle on the business side. There's 47 lessons that cover everything from how to get great clients to how to work out your pricing, how to work out a system that's efficient, and ultimately set up a business that is going to be successful. Essentially what I did is I thought about myself as a 19-year-old. I thought, looking back when I started my business, what would I tell my 19-year-old self to help him avoid all the stupid mistakes that I ended up making and have success in a much quicker time frame? If you know somebody who wants to start a business, it's made for them. If you're struggling in your business, you love the industry, and you want a successful business, this is made for you. We recently added the option as well to break down the payment over 4 months, so it makes it a little bit more affordable for those who are just starting out. The course is called the Aussie Green Biz Mastery Course. For more information, follow the link. If you're wanting to upgrade your lawn care this season, jump on today's sponsor, The Lawn Shed. Lawn Shed stock a full range of everything you need for great lawn care, from fertilizers to wetting agents to soil amendments to pre-emergent, post-emergent, plant growth regulators, everything that you could need. Their products are actually the products used by stadiums across the country. I know, I've seen them in the sheds there when I've done tours. My opinion has always been that if you're going to charge for a service, use the best quality stuff you can get. So jump on the Lawn Shed today, sign up for a trade account, and tell them that you heard about their services through the podcast. Thank you so much for supporting Lawn Shed.
Has there ever been a point where you, say, were developing a product and you got to a certain point where it was like, maybe we got this wrong, and we just go, we've got all that effort, everything, we're bidding it, and we're changing the direction?
No. Ironically, that question's been asked before, and no, we don't believe we've got any product wrong. What we've actually done is we've delayed the launch on product until we got it right for market, because we might bring in a sample, we might test it ourselves, we might give it to someone else to test it, and if it doesn't meet the CTQ, the critical to quality, guess what? We're not introducing it. And one of our very early line trimmers, our second generation, so we went from a 33 centimetre domestic cut to a 38. This had a guard on it the size of a UFO.
Yeah.
It took us 8 months to get that guard right and get it certified, but we were prepared to wait for that time. We will not compromise our brand or CTQs for the benefit of launching product or being first to the market. I mean, we've got a raft of product that we have been first to market on, but that's what happens when, I guess, you're one of the first brands in this category, and we were. But we continue to keep ahead of, I guess, of the competition in a lot of cases. And yeah, I mean, obviously the competition's increased as we spoke before, but that's why we don't become complacent.
So when you've got your CTQs, which is like, it's said that that's really important to you, right?
Absolutely. That's brand DNA.
So brand DNA is central to what you're doing. Do you have a sit down with your team and go, what are our CTQs? Were they set 10 years ago when you came in? Like, it's a general
good question.
direction that we're going?
Absolutely. So we launched Ego in the US early of 2014. Australia was the second region in October of 14. But there was 10 years of development on Ego before we even launched the first product into the market. So, that was all about understanding what the brand looked like, what the DNA looked like, what the guidelines looked like, the colouring, everything. What are the CTQs from a domestic point of view? And then, I guess that's then evolved into commercials. So, look, when we get to China with our global teammates, we quite often talk about the specs that are required in each market. And a lot of our product in the first generation, we actually modified more than mowers than anything else. We modified for the Aussie market because the US, if you can give them credit for anything, they know how to grow and mow lawns. And generally, the mowers won't cut anywhere below 35. Here, we want to scalp, we want to shade it, and 15, 20 mil. Unfortunately, most of our mowers will cut at minimum of 25. The new commercials at 20. We've got a couple of other domestics at 20. So, again, this is about sharing and just gathering information and intel that globally, we can try and deliver a product that's going to provide a solution to a challenge in the market.
What I'm hearing is, like, if I'm translating this to a lawnmower contractor, right?
Yeah.
You've got this product, you're going to wait to change the guard, or you're spending 10 years before you're launching the business. I actually have seen guys and girls, they just go, I'm sick of my job, I'm starting my business now. And they launch and they use what they have and they go out on their own. And maybe it's a bit of an emotional decision, maybe it's a bit of a toxic workplace, right? But the end result of that is that maybe if they had waited that 6 months and then really thought, who do I want to target? Maybe I want to target, I don't know, retirees, and I look a bit scruffy and they're not going to hire me.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 months of suffering in that role would have been a better decision because it gets you a year ahead further. And I totally see what, like, with product launches, it's that first, when you start getting the reviews from the YouTubers, when, certain people like Tim the Lawnmower Man or whatever take it out, something like a guard is going to get brought up. And sometimes that stuff overshadows the rest of it. And so there's a level of patience there, and maybe it's obvious with tools, not so obvious in lawn care, but it's the same sort of principle.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I guess I started off by saying, our objective was to develop a strategy, a point of difference. But that didn't happen overnight. That was 12 months in the making. So preparation is key to anything. The better you're prepared, the more success or the more efficient or operational that you may become. So there was 12 months of building a business plan. And that's gathering a lot of information, talking to consumers, understanding your competitors, understanding the needs. So there was a massive brand study that we undertook as well. And that was just talking to the market. So, we then developed a business plan, and we went to market 12 months later. And we followed that business plan. But what we do is, again, we review that constantly. We review it every 6 months, even to this day. We review it every 6 months, and what hasn't worked, we adjust. What has worked, we adopt. And we look at ways of trying to improve it. I mean, the old cliche, if it's not broke,
don't fix it.
Don't fix it. But if it's broke, guess what? Get the spanners out.
Yeah.
Look at ways of making it better, how you can continue to be in front of your competition or just the market in itself.
Ask about you personally. So I'm sure that it has been many very challenging times. You're at the helm of something with a lot of stress. How have you, or what techniques or tactics or habits that you have, what do you use to get through those challenging seasons from a mental standpoint, mental health?
Yeah. Yeah, look, I guess the grey hair and wrinkles haven't come from just natural beauty, but no, look, it's what's been rewarding on this 10-year journey is the success that we've had. So along that journey, yeah, there's been some challenges, but most of it's been good because I guess, again, we've had a great team that has been committed, has been supportive, who's applied the strategy and the business plan. But there's certain elements that you can't train people on, and that's passion, that's enthusiasm, and that's motivation. You've either got it or you haven't, is my view. Yeah. And I think personally, that's what drives me. If something falls over, I'm going to quickly pick that up and I'm going to run with it, or again, I'm going to adjust it. But it's the reward for effort that keeps me motivated, and to see the success of this brand. And even the team that's been on this journey as well. We're all enjoying it. We're all loving it. Challenges is a way of life. Doesn't matter whether it's business or it's personal. It's the way that you confront it, and that's the way that you overcome it, I think, is key. If you let it just burn at you, it's going to burn you.
So it's like kind of taking action is a way that you...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But don't sit on it. I've often said to my team that if, and especially new starts, if anything is messing with their mind after hours, even weekends, doesn't matter when it is, call me. So just call me. If it means a 5-10 minute conversation so they can move on because maybe something's bugging them, no issues.
Yeah.
Personally, that's what I see a leader does. It leads, that person leads by example, and I hope that team sort of follows that philosophy. And look, they do. I believe they do because I've seen the way they support and commit. There was 4 of us last night at your event. Rain, hail, or shine, we're there.
Yeah.
So I think it's the reward for effort that keeps us all motivated. But we've got a great product offering too, right? So that helps with the passion, and it definitely helps with the enthusiasm. But you got to love. So this is another philosophy of mine: is 50% of what you do in work, 50% of it is about job satisfaction, and the other 50% is what you actually do.
Yeah.
So you got to love what you do. If you don't, you need to find something that does.
I would guess that some of these posts that people put up on MCA and honest reviews and stuff, that's probably where your passion is. When someone's like, "I've got this mower instrument blower, witnessable, whatever it is, and love it. It's been amazing." Is that the most rewarding part?
Oh, look, what's one of the most rewarding parts for me is actually signing bonuses for the team.
You're right.
Because it means that they've achieved KPIs. It means that we're achieving the set objectives of the business. But yeah, I do get a kick out of seeing the team come together. Sales and marketing conferences, I love it. Because the teams to get together, we can share, we can have fun, further build relationships on a personal level as well. But yeah, being on social posts and seeing all the positives, absolutely, I love it. And look, when I first started spending a fair bit of time on social posts, a lot of it got me down. I mean, it was disheartening to see that people or individuals were either accurately reporting some of our product, such as batteries. The mythical red ring of death. It's not true. The red ring is telling you something constructively about the battery. It's the alternating red and green that is a fault. So that can be disheartening, but I come to learn to take it with a grain of salt and actually educate or try and resolve the issue as opposed to take it up personally. Because I did.
Yeah.
Because I consider this to be my own personal baby because of the way that we built it, and I was taking it personally, but I had to learn not to.
And you're super competitive as well.
Yeah. In business, at home, in sport,
ping pong.
drinking beer, you name it. Yeah, ping pong.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Did they ever get the better of you?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. And it's noted. It's noted by friends, family, work. But I wouldn't have it any other way, because if I can instill that into individuals, again, that sort of puts you ahead of the rest, right? Absolutely. But, competition's good. In our world, it's a drive for the category, but that's where we can't become complacent. We've got to understand what our competitors are doing and keep ahead of the game.
I was chatting to my auntie. So I've been staying with my auntie in Melbourne, and we have some similarities in personality types. And she's a manager at a pharmacy, and the business owner says that she leads with a slap. So she'll tell you how it is, but she's also a very generous lady as well. So she's not just a jerk, you know what I mean? So it's what makes her a good manager. Her boss is very gentle.
Right.
She thinks her boss is too gentle. Her boss thinks that she's too straightforward sometimes. Probably a bit of good cop, bad cop. But when I look at it, is at the end of the day, I'm more that I've told people a little bit too bluntly sometimes. Probably need to rein it in. People have worked for me. I also feel like you need that personality in your business. And sometimes, somebody's feelings might get hurt, but at the end of the day, maybe there's a benefit to it. In the same sense, you also need the gentle people, and so that competitive nature, I can definitely see that there's such value to that in certain areas. And then when you have a team, maybe some people compensate in the other areas of whatever anyone's strengths, weaknesses are.
Yep. Look, I think, if there was anything I would lose sleep over or that would challenge me mentally, it's HR.
Right.
It's HR. Because, in a team, you're going to have different levels of character. You're going to have some that are going to be strong, some that maybe not so much. It's the nature of the beast. But, I think from time to time, through challenges or whatever, you might see a different side of individuals, and you've got to manage that accordingly. But at the end of the day, we're a team that's chasing all the same set objectives. We may all have individual KPIs about how we go about the business because of our roles and responsibility. But as a total business, we're all chasing the same. And I think, the cohesion and the teamwork that comes with that is vitally important. So, even the days of coaching footy, I was a big one for coaching juniors. So I coached juniors for 10 years, but it was about bringing the young fellas all together as a team and teaching them. But it was just as important to bring all the parents together as a team as well. So, every one of those parents had a role in that team. And this is no different. It doesn't matter what level of management you're at or, where you fit in the business, you're as equal as the next person. And we've got to make sure that everyone does come together and work towards achieving those set tasks and objectives.
What do you think about the optimal length of work week?
Oh, shit.
And the reason why I ask this is I realised in the last few years that some people think I'm a workaholic, right?
Yeah.
I used to work about 30, 35 hours a week when I was healthy. And then what I would do is I'd volunteer at nights and I'd do running, and I was periods of time I was doing ultra marathons. And I once did a run that was 18 hours long. And I loved it. Like, I enjoyed that stuff. And I realised that I was made in a certain way that I just had a big tank for doing things.
Yep.
My wife does not have the same gifting or whatever. With gifting, it might be positive, negative, whatever. Personality trait, right? And I realised that there's some people who love what they do, don't really need the hobbies, and just get it done. But there's also a line where you go a little bit too far. And I feel like you'd probably have a lot of experience juggling that.
Yeah, look, are you talking personally or team or business or both?
Whatever comes to mind, because all.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So let me talk team and business, and then I'll talk personal. But from a business team point of view, we make it very clear to the entire team. And again, it doesn't matter whether you're a senior manager or somebody in customer service. These are our work hours, 8:30 to 5. Fortunately, our team have, one of the privileges and benefits of working from home on a Friday. So, but during the office hours, Monday to Thursday, it's 8:30 to 5. If you want to start early, that's your prerogative. If you want to stay later, that's your prerogative. But these are our times. So we sort of stipulate that, and that's for the consistency of the team. Again, doesn't matter who you are. And that's been well received and accepted. Now, personally though, once upon a time when I was coaching footy, and that was my out. That was me finding something to get away from work. Because yes, I've been called a workaholic many a time, especially by my wife. But I hate my kids. But I work enormous hours through the week. But that's my choice. I am an early riser, and it's not. Quite often I might get on the laptop at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning because I wait. The head starts, and I'm just motivated to get stuff done. And then, but night time is my time with my family. But that's my decision. I'll work most Saturdays. Again, I'll be up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'll work through to lunchtime. Why? Because I have a family of Rip Van Winkles that don't get out of bed until 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So what am I going to do?
Yeah,
I don't have anything else on a Saturday morning. I'm not going to sit in front of the box. I'm going to get on and be productive and again, try and keep ahead of the crowd. So personally, I work a lot of hours, but that's because I enjoy it.
Yeah, and there's what I'm getting at. I just think, there's a balance. There's life balance.
Yeah, there is.
But I think it's actually rare that people really like their job. And I think that's why the word workaholic sometimes gets thrown around accurately and sometimes inaccurately. Because if I was a cricket player, I'd play cricket all the time.
That's right, because they love their job.
I love cricket.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't be called a workaholic.
Yeah.
But I also love what I do here with the podcast and,
Because you've got a passion for it.
But this is fun. Most people with this bit, like what you're doing is, we had a live event last night, you were there, and I got back at maybe 11:30, probably bed 12:30, and then 7 o'clock this morning I'm up and I'm sending out emails and then meeting and then podcast, and then we've got one straight after this as well, and but it's fun. This is fun. This is easy. It doesn't feel like work.
Yeah. Look, I think you're right. Yesterday for me personally was a long day. It was nearly a 17-hour day. But again, it was my choice. I enjoyed getting along to the podcast last night and talking to a lot of the commercial guys. And when I say guys, I mean both, man and female.
There was 4 ladies last night.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest number of ladies you've had at one of these events.
But I mean, we see that on a lot of social posts too, right? I mean, we've got Em that's working with us in terms of content. So. Hey, we're a business that's out there to cater for the industry. Doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. So,
so it was important to you to be there last night.
Oh, absolutely. So, but I went along to support the team. I wanted to talk to some guys, and again, there's no better information than talking to the market directly. I think I got home at about 9:45. I think I was asleep at 9:50. So it's done the stuff and start the day again.
Yeah.
But that's my choice.
Yeah.
And I've got to be careful as a leader not to try and force that on anyone else. And that's why there's the 8:30 to 5 o'clock time frame.
Yeah.
Before, after, your call.
Yep.
If you want to do it on the weekend, your call. But we do have certain aspects of our business, though, with events, after our events. We got the BJ, Ellie event coming up. So, we're doing Saturdays, but we're also doing our own Saturdays.
I've seen you also those demo days.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? The team, they invest into it. And we make sure that we try and set the standard at these events to make it worth our while. Because we're not going to come along and just fly the flag. We're out there to talk to people and fly the flag and sell stuff and understand stuff. And I think the more we know, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
The more we know, the better we're all going to be.
I think there's a certain level of humility. I've seen with certain brands where they're not getting engaged. I don't want to name names or anything, but, and not even in this industry alone, but They don't get engaged. I can think of especially a software brand that I know of that most wouldn't. And they have a group as a lot for the software.
Yep.
And they have an administrator who someone posts a post and they will say, I've got this problem with the software. And the administrator, you get 3-4 replies, administrator will reply and then shut off comments. And what you find is that 3-4 replies because the software is a bug happening all at the same time.
Yeah.
And usually what happens is there's all this bandwagoning. Everyone's like, I've got the same problem. What I've found personally is that when they shut it off, it sends a message that we don't want to hear what you have to say. Even though they might go, oh, well, we already know this one's there. We just want to deal with the comments. But it's like, we don't want to hear, we don't really care about our clients. And they might go, oh, no, we care about the clients. So we'll keep the comments on. And I've seen that on the other side, we talked about it in the last podcast that you came on with us, is that being engaged in the community groups and things like that. I think there's a non-measurable value to that you can't quite put in a spreadsheet. And people go, I might hate a tool for whatever reason, don't like black, green, white, and grey, whatever. But they go, well, I like that Barry gets involved.
Yeah. Yeah, look, we've now been on a lot of the social posts now for nearly 3 years. I've got to say the first 12 months was pain. Because we were the first brand to actually get on these social posts as a brand.
Yeah.
Not as Baz or anyone else, but to get on there as a brand. And so, for one, our objective was to understand the market, but support the market. Yeah, the brand exposure was a piece of that as well, but we're learning. And when we come to these events, we learn from, it doesn't matter whether you're commercial or residential. Well, I was talking to a guy from residential last night. But you know what? I'm still learning even off our team because our sales guys are out in the market all the time. So they're seeing and hearing a lot more than I am. And I listen and I pick up things and we all use it. So, we qualify it, we quantify it, and we use it. If it's something that's going to help us to, again, provide that solution to a challenge, we're all for it. But I think the listening skills, a big one on listening to understand rather than just listening to hear. So understand what's being said, and if it's not making sense, ask questions until it does. And that's where the commercial market comes into it. The hedge trimmers, the speed of the hedges, that was a big one for us. And that's probably why we overinvest in it, is because we knew we were going to deliver something to the market. And maybe we just went a little bit overzealous on the order quantity, but we've got plenty of stock for anyone who needs it. No, we don't actually. It's good. It's manageable.
Let's, Joel, let's finish this with what's behind you.
Sure.
I'll grab the camera. Let's stand down.
So, over the years, one of the greatest challenges that we've had to combat in the industry is how many batteries do I need? How do I charge it? What's the runtime? And when it comes to runtime, we believe we're one of the leading brands that puts runtime on anything and everything. It's on our website, it's in our catalog, it's on our packaging. We want to be completely transparent. But the challenges of how do I charge my batteries? So approximately 4 or 5 years ago, we heard of this thing called inverter and deep cycle batteries and solar. So we spent about $5,000 converting 5 trailers, and that became the solution. So we started using that in the market to help commercial guys and educate them. This is how you can charge on the go with battery. So you don't have to worry about petrol cans and all of the above. So that's been part of our journey up until now. And in 2024, we're going to overcome that challenge and now provide a solution to how do I charge on the go. So to begin with, though, we come to learn that a lot of commercial guys have multiple batteries. And a lot of them will say, I've got 20 batteries, but I've only bought 2. Because I'll either redeem or I'll buy it in kit form. So they're becoming a lot smarter in our value and how we deliver to the market. But how do you charge up 20 batteries? A lot of the guys now, if they haven't got our 6-pack, they're individually charging. So that's a lot of work to take it out of the vehicle, put it on individual chargers, and then monitor.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to come up with this bad boy, the PGX. It starts with a 1600 watt charging hub. So this connects into mains. But then what we have is that will then be connected into a 3-port dock. So the 3-port dock, though, can then be daisy-chained onto another 3-port dock to the point that you can have as many docks to charge up to 70 batteries.
Wow.
70. So you can imagine that even as we've got it set up right now, and they're all daisy-chained, so again from this one, it's coming down into this port and then into this port. So you can imagine now that if you want to set up your van, all you need to do is have access to 240-volt mains overnight, plug that in, and leave everything in your van.
Yeah.
The beauty is that it's sequential. So from the charging, it'll start charging this one up first. And if that's fully empty, that'll charge it up 100%. If this is 50% charged, that'll charge it up that extra 50 to 100. If this is 80% charged, then it'll only charge up what it needs to top it up. So it will do that sequential charging. So ideal for workshops, for councils, for argument's sake, ideal for vans that have the ability to do that. Now that will charge up to 200 amp hours in 12 hours, so overnight charging.
Right, so that would be, 54 amp hour batteries?
Yeah.
In 12 hours.
So if you're talking 200 amp hour, so you're talking 45 amps.
Right. So look at that. And so these are some empty ones there with no batteries on?
Correct.
So, and these have all been, by the looks of it, daisy-chained?
Yeah, they've all been daisy-chained.
So you've got
so you can see they're on
6 packs there.
Yeah, and what you can see across here is that they're all green, so that means they're all charged. But wait, there's more.
Mate, this is like, where's the ShamWow coming out now?
That comes out later. All right, but wait, there's more. Check out this bad boy. This is the PGX power bank. So it starts off with this bad boy down the bottom here, which is a 40 amp hour lithium phosphate battery. What this bad boy will do is, and you can charge that overnight. This is a power bank, so that's removable. That can also be daisy chained. As you see here, we've actually daisy chained it from the free port into these bad boys. So this one's charging up, as you can see right now, but these are fully charged. Then it's daisy chained into this one as well. So what this now means is we can disconnect that from the hub, and we can now go and put that full power bank on the back of the ute, in the tray, wherever it is. And now what we can do is charge our standard batteries off this 40 amp hour lithium phosphate, and now what you've got is DC to DC charging.
So for those who don't know anything about that, what's the benefit of that?
You don't need mains.
Yeah.
So the beauty of this though is, to give you an example, you can charge up 2 5 amp hour batteries off the 40 amp in 30 minutes. Now our one charger takes 30 minutes to charge up one battery, but this battery will charge 2 5 amps in 30 minutes. And then if you need more batteries throughout the day, this battery will then charge up to 7 to 8 5 amp hour batteries throughout the day.
Right.
But wait, there's more. If that 7 to 8 5 amps throughout the day is not enough for your business, then you can buy 2 and you can double stack them.
Right.
So therefore you've then...
So the frames fit on top of each other?
The frames fit on top of each other.
Right.
So now you can charge up to 16 5 amp hour batteries. And again, your charge time is 30 minutes for 2. Now the other thing is, if you happen to be working away from the vehicle, and let's say it's an open ute, it's got all the provisions for security. So if you want to lock the batteries in while they're charging...
So show me that again, show me that mechanism.
Yep, you can then lock them in.
Yep.
And what you cannot do is lift that lever up. You put a padlock in there, and therefore it's fully secured. So you can leave it on charge while you're away from the vehicle.
And being a frame like this, I'm guessing you can bolt that.
Absolutely. You can bolt it down, you can chain it up. We've thought about all the security because you can't always be alongside of it. So this is due out in 2024, and we believe it's going to be a game changer. Now, I started off saying that we did 5 trailers, $5,000 each, so 200 watts of solar. We had a 2,000 watt inverter, 200 amp hour battery, plus the power management that went with it. They were $5,000 each.
Yeah.
This power bank in the kit form that's going to come in is going to be half that price.
Right. Well,
now that's without battery. Sorry, that's without our standard batteries, but it will be with the 40 amp.
yes, that's important.
Yeah, correct. And of course the hub.
So, well,
so PGX.
So the hub and this will be half the price of mine, saying correctly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just a little over half, so I'm talking around that.
But I thought it was going to be $50 again. No. And what is the ballpark on this if you do have a price point?
So
without the batteries.
So if we're just looking at docks alone,
yep.
It's going to be very affordable. I won't go releasing the price just yet because again, that'll happen at launch.
So 2 cups of coffee, sweet.
Oh, with a couple of sugars possibly.
Okay, all right. But I guess at the end of the day,
it's going to be ultra competitive, especially against inverter conversions.
Well, there's a part of me that there's a certain point at which, for a commercial operator, the cost is not the issue. If there is efficiency, then you can get more done in a day by being efficient.
Yep.
The value is in the time saved, getting more work done. But even so, being competitive on price, I think, obviously that's a big deal for a lot of people. But at the end of the day, these solutions, because it's not nothing to be in thousands.
Yeah.
But for somebody who's going to have that efficiency gain, no-brainer.
Well, I guess we've got to think about battery over the longer term, right? So, with all battery, there's more productivity out there because there's less downtime on repairs and maintenance and all of the above and fuel. But this is probably one of the biggest challenges that we've been experiencing in the market, and the feedback that we've been getting from commercial guys is how many batteries, how do I charge? All of the above. Well, we believe this is the solution for it. And we know there's some other solutions out there, but they're quite expensive as well. We're trying to make this a lot more affordable and a lot more versatile.
Right. So 2024, which is this year.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's not that far away.
But no dates just yet.
No. We'll officially launch it, but no issues talking about it. I mean, it's already on our website. So if any of your listeners want to visit our website, there's some more information on there. Just no pricing at this stage, but that'll all do at official launch.
Well, mate, that was great. Thanks for coming on. I enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys at the rest of the events that you're coming to, and everybody else. We'll see you in the next podcast.